Good morning. You are listening to UpReach, a morning devotional presented by the Church Street Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee, to encourage you as you face the opportunities and challenges of today. Let's begin this day together with some inspiring thoughts from God's holy word. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh, to live according to the flesh. For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. For as many of us are led by the Spirit of God, these are sons of God. For you did not receive the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you received the Spirit of adoption, by whom we cry out, Abba, Father. The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ, if indeed we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together. Romans chapter 8, verses 13 through 17. William Barclay writes, If I am broadcasting, and often in ordinary church services, I use in prayer you and not thou in address to God. I often receive a good many letters, not so much complaining or criticizing, but sometimes regretting it and sometimes asking why. I would like to set down why I do this. Jesus himself calls God by the name Abba, Mark chapter 14, verse 36. As Paul twice says, it is our Spirit-given privilege to do the same, Romans chapter 8, verse 15, and Galatians chapter 4, verse 6. This word Abba is the word by which a young child calls his father within the home circle in Palestine. In any ordinary context, there is only one possible translation of this word. It is the English word daddy, precisely and exactly. To call God by that name in English would sound fantastic and grotesque, but what the word does is to lay down once and for all our relationship to God. That relationship is the relationship of love, confidence, trust, and intimacy which exists between a little child and his father. If that be so, and it is so, it seems a contradiction in terms that we should address this God whom we know so intimately in Elizabethan English, which no one has used for hundreds of years. I do not talk to my best friend like that. God is my best friend. How can I talk to him like that? The Authorized Version of the Bible does in fact use exactly the same word for address to God and man. In the Authorized Version, both God and man are thou. There is in fact no differentiation between address to God and address to man. This is perfectly correct, because in Hebrew and in Greek and in 17th century English, the second person singular of the pronoun is in common use. It is in fact in English, as it is in French, the familiar usage to friends. If then we are to follow the example of the Authorized Version, we will use the same pronoun to God as to men. And since in English we no longer use the second person singular pronoun, the pronoun we use must be you. Religion must always be contemporary. What about you today? Do you have a close, intimate, and personal relationship with God? Do you consider him to be not only your Father in heaven, but also your friend? Why not take a moment right now to speak to God in prayer as friend to friend? This has been UpReach, a presentation of the Church Street Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee. I am Kyle Bolton, the pulpit minister at Church Street, and I would like to personally invite you to come and share times of Bible study and worship with us each week. We meet every Sunday at 9 o'clock a.m. for our morning worship, followed by our Sunday school for all ages at 10:15 a.m. Then we meet again at 6 o'clock p.m. for our evening worship. We also have a midweek meeting for devotion and Bible study on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. I hope to see you there. Have a blessed day.
Follow me, my disciple ever be. Follow me, my disciple you will ever be.
Jesus was walking down by the sea when he saw these fishers and said, "Come follow me."